For me, payroll touches everyone. So for me, it's one of the most important aspects of an organisation, but actually everyone's lives as well. For me as well, payroll is a fascinating subject. You love it or you hate it. I love it. So I'm quite a self-confessed sort of payroll geek. And for those of you that have met me before, I'll always say that usually when I'm going in with customers. But for me, I think it's the fact that it can be so pivotal to people's lives at the end of the day. So the people that are paying and administering and transacting and doing all of that, but then also the people that are then receiving those wages, monies, all of that sort of stuff. So it's a key function that I think sometimes is underestimated. So my current role is sales specialist and I work for Zealous. And I've been there nearly 4 years now. And that's when I really sort of found my niche, you know, when you find that sort of, this is what I want to do, this is great what we're doing. So I'd worked in payroll and had that career in payroll. And I'd started that with Peterborough City Council when I was working for Serco on that contract. But for me, that exciting part of that role and how that's then developed at the moment is the pieces that I do with customers. So what I do with existing customers and what I do with prospects as well. So that exciting piece around what's it doing now for you, what's payroll not doing for you, and how can they then, as a solution, how can I make that there better for you there as well? So that troubleshooting, sometimes listening to people's pain points, being able to say that I've sort of walked in their shoes and used my career to develop that as well, and to be able to help them from that sort of aspect is what excites me, when people are really enthused about getting their payroll done, but with the best tools that they've got in the market to do it. As opposed to falling in it like everyone else seems to do. And I thought at first that that's what I'd done, but actually when I was reflecting back, I did make that conscious choice. So when I was at Peterborough City Council, we transferred to a company called Serco, who provided their outsourced services. Part of that was payroll. But when I transferred, I was what we call a payments team leader. So that payments function had all payments out. So HR and council tax benefits, so that's where I started. Accounts payable, so paying invoices, and then payroll. And then what they did was after that, they then split it out again into the 3 disciplines again. And from there, I chose payroll and went with payroll. So that was approximately 10 years ago that I did that. But it was a conscious choice. Now I look back and reflect, and from there, that's just took my career from on leaps and bounds. The best decision I ever made was once I'd moved into payroll and been in there a few years, the team that I managed had some real experts on the team. So they'd been in payroll, they'd learnt their trade. And one thing that stood out for me that I felt I needed personally was to complete the CIPP payroll management degree. And I did that, so passed the first year assessment, which was hard actually, but passed that assessment and then went into year 2. And from there, 2 things happened. One thing, from a career point of view, I grew in confidence. So actually, some of the stuff that I was learning, I did know, and I was a bit like, oh yeah, this is cementing my learning, but there was so much more that I did learn from there as well. And that then helped me to feel more confident if I went for different positions, or when I was sat in a room giving my expert opinion and someone had positioned me as the SME there. That helped me with a lot of confidence and having that qualification behind me. It wasn't an easy feat though, so I was working full time in a very busy department, and I also had a family to support, so it was quite late nights, trying to meet the deadlines and do all of those sorts of things as well. But I enjoyed the experience of it as well. And graduation, I got to do my graduation just before COVID, so I actually got the day experience and all of that sort of stuff, which was lovely. The second was as well, which is quite a personal thing, is on the courses I met a lady called Sophie. And from there, our friendship has just blossomed. So for me, it was a great thing from a career point of view, but then also from a friendship point of view. I met Sophie, we had our love of payroll, which we still spar about, and our careers have gone in different ways. But then also I'm godmother to her daughter as well. So there was a real special friendship that came out of that, which I wasn't expecting from doing a payroll management degree. Payroll isn't just about pushing a button. That's what people say. And when people do say that about payroll, it's actually the ultimate compliment, because it means that you have made all of that magic there happen in the background, and you have effortlessly done that so that everyone then sees that they've been paid and it's happened, but you have all of that behind the scenes that you are then completing. When you're pursuing a payroll career as well, consider the other hats that you will wear. So when you're talking to an employee or a contractor, you become customer service. So I've got to have my customer service hat on there, but I've also got to have my hat on that explains payroll in that layman's terms, so in the simple terms, that more simple than we understand it with our tax and our NI and all our thresholds that are there as well. But for me, there's also that fascinating piece that's with that as well, and what else comes with that. So although we talk around payroll, and traditionally it's a payroll administrator, a senior payroll officer or a supervisor, and then you go up to a payroll manager, it doesn't stop there. There are many different streams that you could take from there. It's like a tree payroll, and it just goes off. So you've got your customer service hat on and you could go and pursue that. But then you've also got the skills around quality and checking, balancing and reconciliation. That's no mean feat sometimes. And around being an analyst, so looking at the data and how can I then inform the rest of the business on some of these decisions there as well. And then you've got what I've done, where I've took it a little bit further. I've gone into sales. So although I don't get my hands dirty with payroll anymore, actually I understand it from a different point of view, and then have gone off into that sales, pre-sales role to then be able to look at something different and exciting and being able to help people with their payroll as well. So if anyone just says it's pushing a button, it's definitely not. If anyone says that it's boring, it certainly isn't, because no 2 days are the same, no matter what you think. If you're processing a weekly or a monthly payroll, there are pressures that are there, and there are many different hats that you need to wear to then be a good team player, because it is about team playing, and to also be good at your trade and do what you do. Payroll for me is magic. So we make it happen, and then ta-da, people are paid, and that's what it should feel like. Payroll for me is also rewarding. So the learning, the different changes, but also that fact of you are aiming towards that ultimate goal of making sure people are paid accurately and on time. And for me, it's the last word I would choose is happy. And I know that's a bit of an odd one, but it's, I love talking about payroll. I love being in payroll. So actually, it's my happy place in my career and my more comfortable zone to now be in, now that I've been in it for that long. So the 3 words are magic, rewarding, and happy. So I played between 2 songs for this one. So there was the Jackson 5, and I'm not going to sing it for you, don't worry. ABC 1, 2, 3, just the simpleness that they sing within that song. But then for me, there was also another one that was like lurking in the back of my mind, and I think this is it, and this is what we strive to, is perfect by Fairground Attraction. So it's got to be perfect, and I think that's what we all strive to as payroll, so perfect's where I'm going with that one.